In some of my videos you'll see me using this frying pan to catch my feathers, and you maybe wonder why I do it. Well, one, it's actually quite easy to collect them because it's so large, but the main reason that I do use the frying pan is because a lot of the wood that I use in this area is damp, which means your feathers can be damp. So what I like to do is, once the fire's died down and it's basically down to embers like this, I just sit the frying pan on top of it and let the heat get to the feathers and just turn them over every now and again, and just keep an eye on it and make sure they don't catch fire. But just a nice bed of embers. There's a couple of flames on this one, but it should be okay. So just sit the frying pan on like this and just let the heat build up. You can see it's on the fire. And make sure you're using gloves when it comes to turning over your feathers. Okay, and sometimes you'll find that they'll brown, and just watch the edges that the flames don't flick up and catch it, so you need to keep an eye on it. But this is a way I've been using for quite a number of years, just to dry off my feathers. So the feathers have been sitting on the embers for quite a while now, and I've changed them over a few times. So the frying pan's nice and hot now, and what I do is I just lift it off and sit it here on top of my log, and then I just twist them over, shake them out, and you can actually feel the heat through my glove on these feathers. Right, and it's just a way to help dry out the feathers before you put them into your pouch for your next week's fire. So if you're out there and you use a frying pan, it's just a handy way to get another use out of it. Right, on to my next tip. Here's a little tip for you when it comes to sharpening your tracker style blades. Now, I use a ceramic rod, just like this one here, and with the Origin knives, I find all I have to do with them is apex the edges at the end of the weekend and then take a strop to it. So I start off nice and light and I just follow the line of the edge. You can actually hear the sound, and I know this edge is really good. And so you don't need to be too rough with it. Nice and light, do a couple of strokes that way and just pick the angle. Now this is a convex edge on this, and then when I'm happy with that, I just go back and forth a couple of times, just trying to apex it, nothing too rough. Working right to the tip. And if there's a particular area that you feel needs a bit more work, just work at it, just nice and light, nice light strokes, just like you're painting the edge. Okay. And then what I do from here is I normally would use a paddle strop and strop it, but I've actually forgot it today. So I'm going to show you, this is a method I've used for years and years, and I found it's what's really good for me. And it does give us a nice fuel sharp edge. And what I've been doing over the years is been using my gloves. And now in all my videos you see I wear leather gloves. And what you do then is pinch the top of the glove here at the wrist and pull it up nice and tight and bend your fingers backwards. That's the best I can do with my fingers because my forearms are so tight. Okay, but what you can see is from my finger here to the pinky, it gives you a nice long stroke line, and where it really comes into its own is the edge of the hand here for doing the quarter round, and you can go right up the pinky and it fits perfect, as you can see, into that quarter round. Now you need to be really careful with this because you know your blade's super sharp at this stage. Okay, so I'm going to reverse it and then come up the way, being nice and slow and methodical in how I do it, and just keep the fingers bent back and keep the glove as tight as you can. And then I change the angle and I can catch the rest of the blade. As you can see, pulling the knife from the spine to the cutting edge against the leather. Is it the most efficient way to sharpen a knife? No, but if you haven't got a leather strop, it's a great way to finish it, especially when you've got the gloves anyway, and it really does fit into the quarter round and the draw section, as you can plainly see here. Be very careful this edge doesn't cut into the glove. Place it on first and then push away from you and then back. So let's see how sharp the blade is then. We just need this feel sharp, and I've got no hairs left on my arms, so let's see what I've got left in my legs. So let's see how sharp it is. There you go. Right, so it gets it hair shaving sharp. Now this isn't everyone's cup of tea, and you really need to watch what you're doing with the cutting edge against your glove, that you don't cut into your hand. So use this technique with a lot of caution. Okay, but if you're stuck, it can help you out. Right, catch you all soon. Cheers.